Welcome to Media Moses Weekly, the weekly roundup of articles from our own Media Moses and from the entertainment news of the world. Topics include Kensuke's Kingdom, This Book Might Explode with Ethan Nicolle, This Present Darkness and The Chosen, filming and streaming, etc. But for now, what media experiences have you had, Rebecca?
I'm still really enjoying Perelandra is really good. I'm really enjoying that.
Absolutely.
And I'm reading some various books on, Christian things, but not much entertainment. What about you, John?
Yes, I have to agree. Perelandra has been amazing. I think we talked about it last week,
Hmm.
but it has this additional concern, right? Because now Weston has shown up. He is quite a crazy person. It's frustrating for me because here I am reading this book to the family, and I have to stop every few minutes, just take a breath, and calm myself and be like, C.S. Lewis, why didn't you say this differently? Because now I'm frustrated. And of course, as a storyteller, that's half the point. Usually, you want to get your audience kind of invested to where you're kind of frustrated. It's almost like a horror movie, right? You're like, why did those characters not do the right thing? And you're like, well, that you seem pretty upset about this. Exactly, that's the point. So in this case, the moment for me this morning was when Ransom kind of has this conflict with Weston after Weston arrives to the fixed lands, so to speak. Weston literally starts convulsing and being demon possessed. Then Ransom like gets bored and walks away in the midst of this. And I'm like, okay, I know C.S. Lewis didn't say it like that, but that's kind of how it felt. I'm like, why would you turn your back on your enemy? You just saw them go crazy like that. You should tie them up. Thankfully, he did throw his gun away. So that's good. That's a step in the right direction. And then it's like he's maybe a little stressed out and he walks away to kind of gather himself. And of course, turning his back on his enemy and then falling asleep somewhere. And in the morning, he's like, "Well, where's Weston? Where'd he go?" I'm like, "You idiot! Why would you do that?" So you've allowed, and I think I even described it in terms of warfare. I was like, you always pursue your enemy. When your enemy is on the run, you always pursue them. Why? Because your enemy can turn that retreat into a victory later on. They can always regroup. Right? It's in the heat of battle that you have to pursue and take your enemy. If you don't do that, they can come back and get you later on, which is obviously what's happening here. So he should have turned that victory, which I consider that a victory, into a moment to finish the job, right? Which is to subdue him. And then when Weston wakes up, go, "You're not altogether there, are you, sir? Were you here? Did you witness the things that you did, the things you said? Like, you're not in any condition to represent mankind or even yourself at this point." So, these are those moments, right, where you're like, why, like you're in a horror movie and you're like, why do you turn away from your enemy and then they come at you like when you're least looking. It's just come on, guys, get it together. Get it together,
Yeah.
people. Pursue your enemy. Take them all the way. If the rule is if it's an authentic victory, then and the enemy is leaving the battlefield, then you have to pursue them and finish the job. But it could be a feint, as they say, and the enemy could be drawing you in to be destroyed. So you don't just pursue your enemy anywhere. You have to say, is this an authentic victory? So someone who's very well acquainted with the battlefield, right, knows this and knows if you know their enemy and you know your battlefield, you know if this is an authentic victory or not. Anyway, that
Yeah.
Perelandra is great. It's just it's wonderful. And now I can't wait to get to that hideous strength because I don't think I finished that entire book. when I
I
first
can wait.
read
I
the
can wait.
story. You're like, we can wait on that. That was your media experience this week. Mine, I've been reading That Present Darkness also, and I've been really enjoying that. That came out, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe. At the time, it was a very well-known book. It really depicts the spirit world in a unique way that seems actually authentic, and it's done in a way that reminds the Christian community that we have to stay in prayer, that prayer is a valuable, necessary, and important tool as a Christian. And not just a tool, right? A necessary connection between you and your Lord, right? So it's a relationship thing too. He wants us to do this, and he needs us to do this. In the story, that the angels, they wait for the proper prayer cover. So they're waiting for the Christians in the story to pray enough to provide them cover, almost like air cover, and you're in the military, right? To provide them enough cover to complete the battles that they have planned against the enemy. So I would read that book, This
Yeah.
Present Darkness. It's got a lot of great connections to other stories I have wanted to work on and really enjoy. So I'm glad I picked it up again. I'm actually listening to it on YouTube, and I have the book, and I read the book when I was younger, but I'm listening to it on YouTube. I'm quite enjoying it. It's pretty cool. So it is on YouTube for free, and enjoy that. So then, of course, there's a sequel. This Present Darkness and Piercing the Darkness, I think, is the second one. So Frank Peretti.
Yeah. I remember reading that back in the day and I liked it. It was good.
Is like an introduction to spiritual warfare in a way,
Yeah.
but in a fun narrative way, not just an instructional kind of thing.
Yeah, and in a very like positive way, I
Yeah,
would say.
stressing the importance of it.
Yeah.
More people need that, I think, to because today it's like we've forgotten the importance of these essential Christian living things. Just living as a Christian, reading your Bible, right? Prayer. And that doesn't just mean, oh, good morning. Thank you, God for this food, blah, blah, blah. No, it means sharing all of your concerns and needs with God
Yeah.
and depending on him when you pray, expecting him to help you when you ask for help. So this is a relationship building thing. You're building trust with God. That's very important. So yeah, that's our media experiences. There are other things too. I will go into these other stories. Actually, there's three additional stories. Kensuke's Kingdom, This Book Might Explode, which I just learned about today, and it shows in the filming schedule. Next up, our story on Media Moses, Kensuke's Kingdom, stranded in a Ghibli style animation for the whole family. So it is Ghibli style, but it's not like mimicking Studio Ghibli, but there's some great moments. In fact, I even write about how a little bit about AI and how they've mimicked Miyazaki's work at Studio Ghibli. And there's a video about Miyazaki going, "This is the worst thing ever. I can't believe it." When he first saw it, I think he saw it in 2016 or something when it was first coming out. And he was like, this is an insult to life itself, I think he said.
Wait, so he said that about this movie?
He said that about AI, generative AI.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry if I did not clarify. Let me read this a little bit. Considering the recent ruffled feathers about AI getting too close to ripping off beloved artist and filmmaker Hayao Miyazaki and the stunning yet intimate work we've seen from Studio Ghibli in the past 30 years, it's easy to be taken aback by this mildly reminiscent work by longtime animator Neil Boyle, who's been working since Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But in this case, it's not a bad thing whatsoever. The reality is this film has drawn comparisons, especially in the music and sentimentality of the film, but not of the animation style, which may have a similar palette of color to Studio Ghibli, but not in all else. So it does have a similar color, kind of a vibrant color. We do have a trailer. This was just a tweet by somebody who said AI creating Studio Ghibli style art. Knowing Miyazaki spent a year and 3 months on a 4 second scene just hurts my heart. I have to agree. So I talk a little bit about this film. Watch this trailer, I say, for the new animated film, family adventure film, Kensuke's Kingdom, starring the vocal talents of Cillian Murphy, Sally Hawkins, and Ken Watanabe playing Kensuke. What a beautifully unfolding story. Uh, Makes me think of the true tales of Japanese soldiers stranded on random islands in the South Pacific after World War II. Let's watch it then. I don't want to give too much away.
We needed a fresh start. All of us, together, exploring the world.
Dad, when can I do something fun?
Not just yet, sailor. Not just yet.
Michael! It's much too dangerous up there!
You've got the puppy.
Mom! Dad! Where are you?
Look, here goes two.
Wow.
Help me.
Kensuke.
Michael. Where are your family? You have to stay and protect these guys. They're your family now.
It was like a diary of all the fantastic things we'll see and all the exciting places we'll go. You can chart our incredible journey around the globe.
Yeah. So I have to say that's like I said, it makes me think of the true tales of Japanese soldiers stranded on random islands in the South Pacific. Like,
Yeah.
what's this guy doing there? Kinsuke. But I also discussed that it looks like it might have some environmental political messaging in it. Hopefully there's not too much for the kids. But Miyazaki also had environmental themes in his work. It does happen in older films as well as current films. Hopefully some of this is leaving our films though, in the near future, but hopefully less propaganda in the future. As I say, this film is now on Angel streaming platform, but only for Guild members. So I give the link to where you can watch it. This film comes from a recent rash of distribution acquisitions that Angel Studios made from Blue Fox Entertainment, who also provided other internationally produced works such as Lost on a Mountain in Maine from 2024 and A Sloth Story, also from 2024, which have been released in the last few weeks and months. So Kinsuke's Kingdom looks really charming. What did you think of that trailer, honey?
I thought that was awesome. It's beautiful.
It is.
I love the backgrounds are so rich.
They are. And I really like immediately I was comparing it to Miyazaki because of the music, I think. There certainly are visuals that are reminiscent of his work, but I think the music really, the way it swells up and
Mhm.
also the environmental themes made me think of Studio Ghibli work.
Yeah.
It's not really fantastical the way his work is, but it's almost fantastical in the sense of being in such a like crazy situation, being stranded and
Hmm.
lost. and then there just being a man there, it seems fantastical in a way.
Yeah, it seems like the characters are very simply animated. Um,
Right.
and then the backgrounds are just very deep and rich, which could be part of what the story's about.
Well, hopefully he sees. I'm guessing that his parents will find him again when when those people come to the island.
Yeah.
I don't want to, pretend like I can piece that story together, but it sounds really sweet. Hopefully
Yeah.
nothing too tragic happens. We'll see. We can watch it as guild members. And if anyone's interested, if you're a friend or family, I will send you the link because
Oh,
each
yeah.
videos wants guild members to send links to people that they know.
What
So
would be kind of neat is if we did that and we did like a reaction video. We watched it.
not a
Um,
bad idea.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be. All
We could.
right. Okay, well, let's move on to This Book Might Explode. This, which is kind of funny because I didn't even know about this before today, but let me switch over to this. This was I found this on Twitter from Ethan Nicolle, who is an animator. He animated Daily Wire's Chip Chilla. He worked for the Babylon Bee, doing a lot of writing for them. And he's always got projects going on. He recently did get laid off from the Daily Wire, as well as a lot of other people, such as the guy who does uh, Say Goodnight, Kevin. He also got laid off.
Oh, where did he get laid off from?
The Daily Wire, they laid off like all of their kids department who were doing programs.
I didn't know Goodnight Kevin was doing the Daily Wire.
Yeah, he's an editor. He does editing as his job.
Wow. I got laid off too, but not from the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back to what you were doing.
This is from Ethan Nicolle. This he sent out today, and he said, "How do we make kids entertainment with good original content from creators who love making stuff for kids? Directly to you, bypassing big studios and publishers, it starts here. Please check out the samples and the lineup of creators already on board. It's going to be good." So he gives you a link to a Kickstarter, which brings you to their funding
Creator
here.
of the webcomic Axe Cop, which became a late night TV show on Fox. I've also worked on kids' books like Gray Valley Possum, and I did a book called Bears Want to Kill You. I've also been a writer for TV for animated shows such as Teen Titans Go.
And I'm Eric Branscombe. I'm a writer who has worked on shows like Animaniacs, Duck and Goose, Octonauts, My Little Pony, and more. Together, Ethan and I have collaborated on a handful of projects. We wrote just about every episode of VeggieTales in the House on Netflix. We worked together at the Babylon Bee, where Ethan was creative director and I wrote a bunch of YouTube sketches. We created over 100 live action and animated comedy sketches. And most recently, we created the show Chip Chilla, an animated program on BentKeep.
So after all these years in this industry, we've learned a lot. There's nothing that brings us more joy than making things kids and parents enjoy together. But the most frustrating thing about this industry is how hard it is to make that happen.
Yeah, and so because Ethan and I, and we know so many other creators like us, have so many stories and characters to tell, we want to come directly to you. And we've seen this a lot recently. People are using new avenues with social media and YouTube and things like that to bring something directly to the consumer. And so Ethan and I want to take all of our experience in kids entertainment and put it directly at your doorstep.
I mean, one of the constant things that happens in this industry is you've got this new great idea, you work on it for months, you create this amazing packet of artwork and story and writing, and you take it to a room of executives, and then that's it. It just ends. And this happens all the time. My dream has been to be able
It's
to
happened to
get
me so
these
much.
creatives straight into the hands of kids and parents.
Think of it like this. You take your kid to Barnes & Noble to go get a new book, and you find that giant table full of recommendations that has tons of books. What if we could take all of those books and condense it into one book and deliver it straight to your doorstep? And so we've created a subscription-based kids omnibus that will be bursting at the seams with creativity, and we're calling it This Book Might Explode. Picture books, comic books, gag pages, joke pages, ongoing chapter books that go from one issue to the next.
We want to make a book that has the elements of the greatest magazines ever made.
And we're also going to have a really unique interactive element where we're going to sort of challenge you and your kids to finish our stories, to design our characters, to send them in, and we'll publish them in the next issue.
Feels like a book you can
That's
put on your
great.
shelf. Not only because it's readable and you and your kid enjoy reading chapter by chapter all the different stories that we're giving you that continue from issue to issue, but also because it's a monument to their creativity. It's got drawings they've done, it's got stories they've written, and now you have that book on your shelf you can look back on.
We not only want to entertain both you and your kids, we also want to inspire them. We want to encourage them to create their own worlds and create their own stories. Because while we're going to gather an incredible collection of creators, we also want to encourage that maybe the next great creator is right in your living room.
I kind of got my start making a comic called Act Cop, where when I was 29, I created a comic with my 5-year-old brother. I turned our playtimes into stories, and I really have always loved the energy that we created there.
What we're really hoping is that this is just the beginning. We're hoping that it spins off into other books and other picture books and a YouTube channel and a podcast and an app. And we really want to use this as a foundation to really create, I don't know, not just the next kid brand, but the next great kid empire.
We have so many ideas, so many things.
Kid empire.
We might explode. Off of that, our goal is to make 3 books with a full year's worth of 6. It's an 8.5 by 11, so larger than your normal small kids book, full color, and at least 100 pages per issue. With the success of this Kickstarter, we could actually go monthly, and that's what we want to do. That'll depend on the amount of creators that we're able to get on board and the amount of people subscribing off the bat. But beyond that, the more subscriptions we get, the more we can do.
We know that your kids are going to love this book. And not only that, but you're going to enjoy it with them. So if anything that we're saying connects with you at all, we hope that you would consider joining our Kickstarter and giving This Book Might Explode a shot.
And please share it with all your friends. Tell them about it. We're going to really be depending on organically getting the word out on this thing.
Oh yeah, man, it does connect. That's great.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Highlights magazine.
Mm-hmm.
We used to get those for our kids, and then I had them when I was little, and then every once in a while they come out with like a big one
Yeah.
that has puzzles in it and stories in it. It sounds like a much better version of Highlights magazine.
That's awesome. It does. It sounds like a lot more fun. It sounds like a lot more creativity going on. And they also want to include their own readers if they want to become artists to send in work, and maybe their work will make it into the book. So that's kind of exciting. Maybe our daughter's work could end up in there.
Yeah.
Could definitely happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we're going to be talking in the future about our daughter's work, and we have yet to set a lot of this stuff up, but she is working on a book called Boxland, and we have set up all the details, and we're working with a publisher, a local publisher named Pinch Penny Publishers, and hoping to get a limited run completed, and that we might also do a little Kickstarter. Obviously, it won't be as big as Ethan Nicolle's Kickstarter. Man, I congratulate them. They have a great video, and
Yeah.
they're gonna do really well. So
Yeah, they really do. That's an awesome video. Sometimes the Kickstarter videos are so amazing.
yeah, I
But
know.
it's
I feel like overwhelmed. Like I can't do that. Sheesh.
right. It feels intimidating. Like
Yes.
I can give you some pictures, but I don't know if I can make a video that
Look
exciting.
at this picture. Here's another picture.
Once I finish the video, that would take as much time as making the actual product that
I
I'm
know,
raising
right?
money for.
Exactly.
Right. Fund my Kickstarter video.
But there you go.
It's
If
very
I'm gonna
highly
get my
produced.
Kickstarter video funded, I could fund my other video that I'm trying to get kickstarted, and then I might have to get a video to fund that one. I know it's overwhelming, the Kickstarter thing, and I looked into doing it years ago, and then I was like, I don't know if I can do all that work to just running a campaign. It's overwhelming. So the next article, the next story we have is The Chosen filming. Okay, here's Media Moses, and tonight this has been put out as The Chosen Season 5 streams this summer. Season 6 films in Italy. Will need additional time to come to theaters. So there's additional time that they're going to need generally they've been coming out about every year, sometimes a year and a half. This is like not quite 2 years, but it'll take a while. So this is our feature today as the chosen stream. So what does that mean? Chosen season 5 streams. So we give you some dates on this article. The dates are down below. Let me read some of this first, though, before I give you the dates. Dallas Jenkins doesn't appear to miss a beat, but this doesn't mean that things always go without a hitch or that each of these seasons come easy. Following their lawsuit with Angel Studios, many snags occurred to make the release of season 5 difficult. What we hear on top of these kinds of unusual obstacles and challenges that most shows do not necessarily have to deal with is that season 6 may take longer than many people may expect. There's some people who report on this, but I gave a Deseret News report. Upcoming season 6 may be the most difficult one yet. The latest news is that it will likely take 2 years to produce, 2 years or so. We learned today, and the article from Deadline came out only hours before I released this article, and it gives a date, which is, I believe, March 2027. So not quite 2 years. But what they say is, so that means 2027 release for season 6, which will be entirely about the crucifixion, an entire season about one day of complete utter torture. Season 5 is coming soon. So hopefully it will hold us over till this terrible season 6 arrives in 2027. This next season is about one day, Jesus' last day, just as season 5 was about the last week before the crucifixion. And having seen season 5, I know it's amazing to watch. So I do discuss here how we're probably going to see the complaints continue about The Chosen, and that is from the Christian community. They say it's a form of idolatry, etc., but this is inaccurate. So these attacks are all too predictable by Christians who are uninvolved, apathetic, and lazy about the culture. So you can read that article and hear my thoughts on that, but there is more to come. I talk about how there are complaints, but then I say transition over to the Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ comes to mind, and I believe many reviewers will be earnestly providing comparisons and faithful analysis to this. Mel Gibson's completely heart-wrenching depiction of Christ's death from more than 21 years ago. In fact, if you haven't seen season 5 in theaters yet, you won't yet know, but you will soon see people making comparisons to the Passion, as the parallels are becoming more clear from the ending of season 5. Yes, I will tell you that the comparisons I see with the Passion in season 5 have to do with Garden of Gethsemane and a few other things. Some of it is filmed similarly, and if you have not seen the Passion of the Christ yet, or if it's been a while since you've seen Passion of the Christ, I would watch it because it's an absolutely beautifully shot film. Sometimes that makes it more heart-wrenching, and sometimes it's just a beautiful piece of art.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I know, I still think about it, and sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, I've got to prepare myself again to watch it again. So because I'll probably have to be writing articles about the comparisons, and right now my memory serves me, I'm going to need to watch it again. So, but as I say, the most obvious reasons we will see this apt comparison is that the sequel to The Passion, aka The Resurrection of the Christ, Mel Gibson's upcoming film, will be filming during this summer 2025, as well as The Chosen season 6 filming in Italy this summer at the same time.
Wow.
So this means, yes, The Chosen will be filming in the same place at the same time as The Resurrection of the Christ, even though Gibson's long-awaited film will likely be released a year or so before season 6 of The Chosen. One might wonder why that is, but also, will they be filming in the same literal studio? I think that it's called Cinecittà Studios, and taking advantage of the same literal sets that Mel Gibson will be building. I have heard of and seen many filmmakers who do this, and this saves them a great amount of money. the classic B movie director and producer, Roger Corman, did this all the time. He not only would reuse his sets, he'd reuse his props, he'd reuse footage from other films and stick them in other films. He was just a master at this.
Yeah.
In this sense, it's not going to be difficult to use just a set that someone else has set up, especially if that set is like old ancient Jerusalem, and then repurpose it to do slightly different shots, but with the same beautiful set. It's no doubt going to be incredible set. So this is amazing if true, and I believe the conversations will be palpable in late 2026 and 2027 about both of these projects, if this happens as I predict. I also leave my article here on Mel Gibson's Resurrection of the Christ to shoot in Italy this summer, so you can read the details on that. And which is shooting 21 years after the first was released and became the largest grossing independent film in history. Who knows if the second film will beat that record? So here I give the deadline article, and so I say, but why, oh, why do you think it will take The Chosen an additional year to get their work out and into theaters? Well, as Deadline gives us in a new report only hours old, only the season finale will be shown in theaters after it already comes to streaming in 2027. That's the season finale of season 6, of course. Dallas is planning for a major finale for season 6, and this same pattern also follows for season 7, except in reverse. Season 7 will bring us the beginning of the season, not the entire season, the way season 5 was, to theaters, which will lead us into the remainder of the season on streaming soon after. So how this appears to be working is that, first of all, season 5 is going to come out while season 6 is filming in Italy. Season 6 will come out on streaming next year, or I'm sorry, the year after next year, 2027. And then the finale of season 6 will be released in theaters, making the finale really special. And then the last season, season 7, will be the beginning of season 7 will be in theaters, making the beginning really special. And then it will go into streaming at the end of season 7. So a little different than what Dallas Jenkins has done before, but it looks kind of fun. It looks like they have a really important and integrated plan on how to release this with Amazon Studios. And it looks like they're going to have to time the streaming releases with the theatrical releases really tightly. And I think that's something that Amazon could actually pull off. So I think we're in good hands here, as long as they complete everything in time with shooting and post-production. There shouldn't be any difficulties with this. And I will give you the dates right now. As Deadline reports and other places now too, season 5 will come to streaming on June 15th, 2025. This is only weeks away. The season 6 finale will come to theaters on March 12th, 2027. And the season 7 kickoff in theaters will be on March 31st, 2028, leading us into the final season of The Chosen. So we have quite a bit more to go in this epic gospel story of Jesus and his sacrifice for the sins of humanity. And I'm here for it. So I can't wait, but it will still be some time from now before season 6 comes out. But guess what? We have season 5 coming out in theaters in only days. I'm sorry, coming out on streaming. I've already seen it in theaters. But we have it coming out on streaming on the 15th of June. So how long from that is? About 2 weeks and a few days.
Yay.
Yeah. So 16 days from now. Pretty great. Can't wait. And I enjoyed all of them in the theaters. They're really quite good, quite cinematic. And just as I've stated before about, remember Light of the World, how I mentioned Light of the World? It makes a big difference when you see some things in theaters because of the way they're shot, whether it's the aspect ratio or how the framing is, um, or just the quality of uh, the picture in cinemas. It just pops so much more, has such a greater impact. It's almost like a different film in theaters sometimes. And so in
Yeah.
this case, my belief is also that they are shooting in a cinematic way for the next two seasons as well. So, especially for those particular episodes that they are releasing in theaters. So, I think we're going to see something very cinematic coming from Dallas Jenkins in the next coming years. And I'm here for it. June 15th. Be there and enjoy it. And that's our stories for Media Moses this week. I hope you enjoy your week. Our Media Moses articles can be found on MediaMoses.com. Paid and unpaid subscriptions are now available. So it's something that I've been enjoying to finally get set up. Next step, our main topic, which is, do conservatives know what time it is? It's over on Culture Warfare with Jon Croft. That's me. See you in a minute as we transition over to that channel. And have a great week, you guys. Be right back.